Hey guys, Pankaj here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In last video, we saw how we used NumPy for handling scientific data and how to compute a lot of matrix operations, right? And main thing about NumPy was it was handling only homogeneous data, correct? But what happened when you have heterogeneous data? A lot of different data types are contained in a table format, right? So NumPy will not be able to do that kind of operation. So to rescue that, we have another library called Pandas. Panda stands for panel data. Okay, so we are going to see that library, and this is one of the best library for handling any kind of tabular data. Okay, and be it any format, this library will help you to manage all kind of operation, whatever you want to perform. Okay, so let's see what and all I have today. I'll share my screen. Okay, so here is the PPT for Pandas library. So Panda is basically a Python package for data analysis. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is one of the best Python library for handling any kind of tabular data. Okay, so you'll see the magic, like what kind of simple operation you can perform with whatever big data you have. Okay, it provides built-in data structure which simplify the manipulation and analysis of data sets. Okay, so Panda is easy to use, powerful, but with great power comes with great responsibility. Of course, a lot of responsibilities will be there when you are going to handle big data. Okay, so we cannot teach. Yeah, so why we have mentioned this? Because it supports a lot of functionality, and what and all I'm going to show, those will be very heavily used and very frequently used. Okay, so I will not be cover all functionality, but whatever I'm going to cover, that is sufficient. Okay, so once you are familiar with all the basic operation, I would suggest please go back to this particular documentation of Panda's official website, and you can read about all other operations what I have not shown you. Okay, then it will help you to understand easily. Okay, so what are the basics of Pandas? So we will be talking about series data type, data frame, that is nothing but table data. Okay, so believe me guys, that this series and data frame is very important concept. So if you understood this, then believe me, or I can bet you, you can handle any kind of data, okay, using Pandas library. So whatever I'm going to show, whatever example I'm going to show, please listen carefully and keep trying parallelly in your notebook. Okay, we'll see how to create data frame from dictionary or from different data also. Select column, how to select columns, how to select rows. Okay, so why I'm calling select column and rows, because if you see the Excel sheet, right, so there what we have, let me just open Excel sheet just for example. Okay, where it is. Yeah, so if you open Excel sheet, right, in the top header, what do you see? A, B, C, D, those are nothing but name of the columns. Okay, and if you have, if you see the left side, you see all the numbers, right? Those are nothing but your name of the row. Okay, so let's say if I have some data here, 1, 2, and here let's say we have 3 and 4, right? So in B column, I have 2 and 4, and column A, I have 1 and 3. Okay. And if I talk about the rows, so in row, I have 1, 2, and another row, I have 3 and 4. So in general, what and all database you are going to maintain, or whatever big table data you have, right? So everything will have at least column and row combination. Okay. So each column or each row combination, whatever you see a set of element, right? Those are nothing but your series of element. So that's why this as a whole, if you see, this is nothing but a table. And if you talk about individual row or individual column, that is nothing but a series. Okay. So that is what we are going to talk. So if you just talk about this particular data, this is a data frame. And if I just talk about column A or column B or row 1 or row 2, that is nothing but a series. Okay. So that is what we are going to see in this session. Okay, so this is what they are talking, how to select column and rows. So right now I'm selecting by holding the cursor, but same operation you can do using Python. Okay, so we'll see how to do that. Okay, so to perform any kind of operation on series or data frame, you need to have library that is nothing but pandas. So in general, we import using panda and we give alias as PD. This is standard format or most commonly used alias. You are free to use any kind of alias. Okay. So as I mentioned, it is used for data analysis, data manipulation, and data visualization also. Okay, so let's see a couple of examples here. So this is your Excel data. So this is a raw data. Okay, so here I can represent the whole data. So if you remember, right, we have seen in NumPy, and NumPy matrix is nothing but 3 rows and 4 columns. Just assume about this example. Okay, so if you are going to add row header as well as column header, then that will become your pandas data frame. Okay, so that is what is shown here. This is your NumPy array, and I'm going to transform array into data frame, and I'm going to show this with the help of program. Okay, so when you convert into data frame, automatically row index and column index will be added, and I'll tell you how to manipulate these data also. Okay, so let's see pandas series and data frame. So pandas series is nothing but single dimension, that is 1D, and data frame is 2-dimensional. Okay, because it has rows and header. Okay, and series is nothing but either row values or column values. Okay, series is 1D labeled index array and can hold any data type. So when I say any, means it is heterogeneous data. It could have integer, it could have all integer, it could have all the string, or it could have float, any value. Okay. Now data frame is a 2D labeled index matrix and can hold any data type. Okay, and mix of data. That is the beauty of data frame. Okay, so in the whole data you will have a mix of like integer, string, and float, and complex values. Okay, in the text values, that is nothing but string. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to show, just have patience, just read about this, like, basic concepts. So panda is essential concepts. A series is a name with Python list, dictionary with list as values. So you know how to define dictionary, right? So this dictionary I can convert into series. Okay, so what it will do, basically it will take all the key as a name of the index, and the values will be your series values. Okay, similarly, if you're going to create data frame out of dictionary, then all the key will be taken as a column names. Okay, and their value will be your series of column values. Okay, so similarly, now once you have data frame, you can do you can fetch one particular column or one particular row the way you did in the Excel. Okay, by using the index. So there are a couple of different methods. I'll show a couple of tips and tricks also. Okay, similarly, once you have data frame, you can filter all the values. How to filter, again, this kind of condition we have seen in NumPy, right? So basically panda is nothing but extension of NumPy with some enhanced functionality. Okay, so these kind of things you are already familiar in NumPy. We can put the index inside a index notation bracket and fetch the portion of the table by satisfying the condition. Okay, so how to select particular column? So yeah, you can definitely, all columns are treated as a key of the dictionary, right? So you can just refer as a key, and definitely you can use the square bracket notation. So this is one way of doing that. Another way, like you can just using a dot notation also you can do, like df dot x1. Okay, so that will also return the column value. Selecting multiple columns, yeah, so if you are going to select multiple column, or if you are to fetch multiple columns from a given data frame, you pass all the column in the form of list. Okay, yeah, so let's see the example. This is not only limited to these particular topic what I just showed in the PPT. We have a lot of things to cover in the video. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, so let's import the library. Now from this video onwards, you will see I'll keep importing a lot different libraries. Okay, so in pandas we are covering NumPy as well as pandas. The next we'll see visualization. So there are also another 3-4 library I'll be importing. Similarly, if you see in the machine learning, another 5-6 libraries I'll be importing. Okay, so let's import this. Import NumPy as NumPy np, import pandas as pd. Okay, so let's print the version of this. So I have 1.3.2. You will also have similar. I think this is the latest one. Okay, now you can print all the supported function of PD. the lot of functionality. So we will be seeing almost half of them. Okay. So first comes with data series. Okay. So let's see how to create series. So remember guys, when, okay, I'm going to give the variable name address because this is series pt dot. So here, whatever function we are going to use, right, it is case sensitive. So the first letter of the function, that is series, will be capital, rest will be small. Okay. Yeah. So pd dot say specify data type. Okay, I'm not defining data type, that's why it is giving the warning, but that's okay. So this is how you create the empty series. So what it has a series data type, which is empty. Okay, and what is the data type? Float 64. This is exactly same as what we saw in the NumPy also. If you don't define any data type explicitly, it is going to take float 64. Okay, so let's create series with some list data. So I'm going to define a list called 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I can pass this list object in the series. So s equal to pd dot series, then l, then print this. Okay, see what is happening. So this is my original data 1, 2, 3 for this series. Okay, so it is going to visualize as vertical. Okay, it's not like a horizontal list. It the visualization of data frame or series will be always in the vertical form. So series is one dimension, so that's why you see the data in one dimension. So what about this 0, 1, 2, 3? Okay, from where it is coming? So guys, this is nothing but your row header. That is what you see here. So in Python, we have starting with 0, right? That's why it is taking from that. I'll just put 1, 2, 3, and 4. You see these series value is having some row header, right? Row name, that is nothing but row number 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is Excel sheet, it is starting from 1. But if you talk about Python, it is always starting from 0. Okay. So in case you are not defining any row header name, then by default it is going to start from 0 to n minus 1. That is length of the value. Okay. So I'm just going to give as a tuple also. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it is list or tuple, it should be series of values. Okay, similarly I can give, let's say, 4. So what will happen? As I mentioned in the previous video also, in NumPy data type object, if any of the data is having let's say you have all integer and except one value, that is string type, so everything will be casted to string type. That's why you see data type is object, but here it was integer 64. Okay, so that's how you create a series. Let's see how we can create series using NumPy array. So here also it is simple. I'll create a np dot array, and let's say I have 3 and 4. Okay, print a. This is your NumPy array. Now I'm going to create series pd dot series a. See here, exactly same. Okay, so that's about using NumPy array. Let's see how you can use the dictionary. I'm going to use a equal to, let's say, dictionary. I'll just mention d, and a colon 1, then we have b colon 2, c colon 3, print s, sorry, it is d. Okay, that's how your dictionary looks like, right? Now let's create a series out of dictionary d. See here what is happening. So whenever you pass dictionary, right, dictionary is having key and value pair, right? So all the key will be fetched separately, and that will be used as a row header. Okay, and their corresponding value against each key. That's how you get it. Okay, so this is like by default whatever operation you can do. Now let's see how to create series using index names. So by default we saw if you are not going to give index name, it will be 0 to length minus 1. If it is dictionary, all the key will be used as the index name. Now what if user wants to give their own index? So let's say I have one list equal to 3, 4. I'm going to create a series using list But here we have one value or one couple of parameters. Okay, so let's talk about index. So index means user wants to pass the index name. Okay, and this index name will be exactly, user supposed to pass exactly same number of names as the length of list. Okay, so let's say I want to pass A, I want to pass B, C, and D, because 4 elements are there. Okay, so if you don't pass, then what will happen? It is going to take 0, 1, 2, 3. If you pass, then it is going to take those names for the provider. Okay, now let's say what happens when you pass list number of index name. It is going to throw error. Length of values 4 does not match length of index 3. Okay, so I'll just comment it. Now let's say what happens when you pass more number of elements. Okay, so length of values 4 does not match length of index 5. Okay, so this also throwing error. Now let's talk about another condition here. Assume that I am just having one element and I'm just passing this. What will happen? This is correct. Now if I pass more, it is exactly same as previous condition. Okay, but there is one special condition where you pass only one value as a scalar. Okay, I think I'm going to cover here. Yeah, with the scalar. So that will be this condition. So when you pass similar kind of element, but rather instead of list or tuple, if you are just passing as a scalar, that is nothing but single value without any bracket. Okay, let's say I pass 40. But here I know I'm just having only one element, right? But let's say user is passing more than passing index names more than the given value, right? So what will happen? It is going to broadcast that single or scalar value to those many number of time, whatever number of indices are passed. Okay, so this is the beauty of with scalar value when you create a series. Okay, so of course you can pass data type also. So t type equal to integer 8. Okay, so this is again same as whatever we saw in the NumPy. Okay, so that's how you create different kind of series from different kind of elements. Okay, so now let's see how to do indexing and slicing in the series. So I'm just going to create again. Let's say 10, 20, 30, and 40, and 50. Okay, so my series is going to look like this: pd dot series A. Okay, and I'm not going to give any index name. Let it be by default. Okay, so I got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So how to access it? So whenever you have S, you just pass the index name. S0 is your 10, and S, let's say 3 is your 40. So that's how you do indexing. Okay, let's say in case user is passing the index values. Okay, so I can, instead of writing this, right, I can just write this also. B, C, D, E. Correct? Now in this case, how you can access? S of A. See here. So there are two ways to access always. In the series, you have either index choice or using the index name. Okay, so if index name has been passed, you can use name also. But now let's say my S is now having index name, right? If I pass 0, then what will happen? Okay, this is very smart. So what it does internally, a series or data frame, they also maintain internal number. Okay, so that is nothing but your default number of indexing. Okay, so if index name is existing, it is well and good. If it is not existing, it is having default number, that is 0 to length minus 1. That's how you are able to access the first element of the series by using A or 0. Okay, so let's see other thing. If I want to access multiple element, so multiple index name you have to mention. So let's say I can mention A, then whatever order you are mentioning, in the same order it will be returned. Okay, so A, C, and D. You can get 10, 30, and 40. Similarly, you can give, let's say I want 0 onwards. Okay, or I want 2 onwards. This is also possible because now this is the index value you are accessing, but here it was index name. Same is not true with index. Let's try that. What happens? Of course, it is trying because everything is in serial. It is going to return all the element of the series. Okay, from A onwards. And remember one thing, guys. Here I was using index. So C, D, E, correct? So let me show one more example. What I'm trying to show here. Let's say 2, 3, and 4. So if you remember the rule of indexing in list in Python, end index will always be excluded, right? So see here, 2 and 3 only getting printed. That is C and D, but not 4. Correct? So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, but in this case, I can mention A to D. You may think D will be excluded. No, it's not like that. This is the index name. So A to D, whatever is coming in between, everything will get fetched and it will be returned. Remember that this might be asked an interview also. Okay, this is very important concept. Okay, so that's how you do indexing and slicing in the series. Okay, so let's do the next one, that is data frame. Okay, this is my favorite topic. I love data frame and handling or manipulating data using data frame functionality. Okay, so let's see how to create data frame. So data frame is nothing but, as I shown in the Excel sheet, it is just a tabular data which is having a row header and column header. Okay, so how to create empty data frame? So I'll create a df equal to, so let's use this variable name df, that stands for data frame. Okay, so pd dot data frame df. Okay, so this data frame is empty and there's no column, there's no index, correct? So let's create something else using default option to create data frame. So I need to have some data, right? So now here random library will help you to create some random data. Okay, and using numpy array. So I'm going to use a equal to np dot random dot ran int, let's say 1 to 50 or maybe 1 to 10. I want to have 15 numbers and let's reshape them by 5 rows, 3 columns. Okay, and let's print it. So this is your numpy array. Now let's pass this array. Okay, I could have shown this earlier. Okay, I'll use this later. Let's go with simple one. Okay, so a equal to, let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4. df equal to pd dot. So again, guys, here we are having data frame function, right? So d will be capital and f will also be capital. Okay, so here df a, then df. See what is happening. Now it is going to print a table. This table is nothing but having only one single column. That is nothing but a 1, 2, 3, 4. You see here. So this is having row header as well as column header. Okay, so my row header is 0, 1, 2, 3, and column header is only 0 because I have only one column. So here how it names the row and column header. In case user is not passing any specific name explicitly for row and column, it is going to take length minus 1. Okay, so 0 to length minus 1, that will be the name. Okay, similarly we can have using list or tuple. I think this I already showed here. Okay, so I can create simple one also. pd equal to pd dot data frame. I can pass 1, 2, and 3 and just give df. This is also fine. Okay, so that's about normal data, then list and tuple. Now let's create from numpy array. So numpy array, now I'm going to have 2D. Okay, it is 2-dimensional. So multiple rows, multiple columns. Now let's use this array. Df equal to pd dot data frame of a, then print df. You see here. So 0, 1, 2, I have 3 columns. Okay, you see here 1, 2, 3, and 5 rows. Okay, 7, 5, 3, 8, 5. Okay, so if I'm going to write same thing here, let's say 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 4, 4, and let's say 5, 6, 9, 8. Okay, so this is my 3 by 5 array, right? Or 5 by 3 array, 5 rows and 3 columns. Exactly same thing I have. So my ABC is nothing but your column header, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is row header. But in case of Python pandas, we have 0, 1, 2 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 row header. Okay, so that's how you do that. Now in case I'm going to create using same number whatever we have, so I will use ABC for column. So here we have 2 different parameters, that is index and columns. Okay, so index mostly we don't rename because let it be by default 0 to length -1, but most of the cases we do renaming of columns. Okay, so I have A, B, and C. Let's use list. This is my way of creating list of ABC. You can write in a square bracket also A comma B comma C, anything is fine. Okay, A, B, C, this is my column. That is what you see in the Excel sheet, A, B, and C. And I would like to go ahead with default for row header. Okay, that's how you create a data frame. Now let's create a data frame using dictionary. So I'll create a dictionary of this column A, B. Let's take small one. Okay, then df equal to pd dot data frame d. See here what it does. It is giving error if using all scalar value you must pass an index. So in this particular case you need to pass the index also. Okay, so only in this case when you pass a dictionary to create a data frame. So I'll pass index as how many values, 1, 2, 3, right? So I'll just pass, I can pass any number, right? My indexing will start from 100, 101, and 102. Okay, you see here. So A, B, C will be taken as key because in data frame column name will always be treated as keys. Okay, and yeah, index header will be started from 100, 101, and 102. That's how you create data frame from dictionary. Now let's see the next one, attributes and methods of data frame. This is also very important. A lot of functionalities or methods or attributes are added for data frame to get a lot of internal details about data which user is using. So I'm going to create a equal to np dot one to, let's say 50 or maybe 20. I want to have 30 values. Reshape 5 by 6. Okay, let's create a data frame of this a pd dot data. Guys, be familiar with these functions. Okay, why? Because see, when I started learning pandas, right, I was feeling very low, like, okay, I don't have data, how to create data frames and manipulating, right? So better you keep using random.random function very frequently so that you will have all the data available in handy. Okay, so that you just quickly create data, numpy matrix, convert into data frame, then you apply all the function. Okay, and later you just get the real-time data. Okay, that also I'll show how to get the real-time data or some sample data and read into data frame. Okay, so I'm just going to use a, and here I'll use columns equal to list okay. So this is my table A, B, C, D, E, F, 6 columns and 5 rows. Okay, so let's see what and all we can fetch from this div. So df, we have d types. Okay, So this D type is nothing but it will tell what kind of columns we have of what kind of data. Okay, so each column is of what kind of data type. Okay, so right now we have only integer, then you are seeing integer 64. Okay, let's say a column A is having integer 64, column B is having string type, so it will show A integer 64 and B equal to object type. Okay, and let's say column F is having float data, it will show float 64 as well. So I'll show once I manipulate the data. Okay, so D type is one thing. Then we have size. Size 30 is nothing but 5 into 6, that is total 30 elements are there. Okay, then let me put everything in one name. Print D types, size. Then we have values. So using values, whole data frame can get back into NumPy matrix. Okay, that's what values does. Now we have, do we have D type? No. So since data frame is two-dimensional, that's why we have to use data type so that all column data can be written. Okay, now do we have shape? Yeah, shape is 5 by 6, means 5 rows, 6 columns. Okay, what else we have? Do we have item size? Yeah, items are nothing but your exactly a matrix. Okay, so this will create a generator or iterator by which you can iterate over it. Okay, that is one thing. Then we have something called df dot index. So index is going to return like what kind of values you have for your row header. Okay, since it is in serial, that is 0 to 4, so that's why it is giving start from 0 and stop to 1 to 5, and step size is 1. Okay, you can have rows. I don't know row is there or not. Let me just check. No. So we have index, then we have columns. This is very important, columns. Okay, so I'll tell you why it is important, because whenever you want to iterate over each column, right, then better you get columns and you iterate using for loop. Okay, so this is not a function, that is the attribute. Okay, that's why you see index object is not callable. So it is not a function, it is just an attribute. Now similarly, we have one more function called keys. Keys is a function. Okay, so it is going to return me exactly same, either you can use keys function or column attribute. It is going to return me the name of all the row column header. Okay, then we have something called describe. It's a function, it's very important function. So this is also known as or you can use a summary also, kind of. So what it does basically, it will take each column, okay, and it is going to return different kind of attribute detail. This is very important. Those who are going to do a lot of statistical analysis for a given data, right, this is the first thing you should run after cleaning your data. Okay, so I have how many values on each column, it will show, including, sorry, this is excluding those number which is not a, or let's say, so what I mean to say here, let's say you have one column where 1 4 2 4 8, then it is empty, then something is 10. Okay, so if you see total size of this column is nothing but how many elements, total 6, right, 3 4 5, including this empty, it is 7 values, correct. But in this particular count, only those numbers will be counted which is non-null values. Okay, so in pandas data frame, this particular empty value is known as NaN, not a number. So this is also the one of the beauty of pandas library. It automatically treats all the empty data as NaN. Okay, so please remember that NaN stands for not a number. So I'll show all those things when we deal with the real-time data. Okay, what is the mean value of each column? 9.8. How to get it individually, that also I'll show. So if you see right at the end, describe is nothing but it is giving one data frame where my row header name is these kind of functionality, that is count, min, standard deviation, minimum. Then interquartile range, that is nothing but 25%, 50%, and 75% in the max. Okay, and column as it is, the name of column A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so we'll talk about this little more when we talk about real-time data. Okay, so describe is another function which you should be knowing it very well. Complete table data. Okay. Now let's see the next one, setting name for rows and columns. So assume that what is my DF here? ABCDF, right? I would like to change name, one particular name of columns or rows, right? So how to change that? We have df dot rename. Okay, if we talk about rename, it gives couple of attribute or parameter. How you can do that? So the best one is, let's say I would like to modify only the index row, index header. So you just pass index and pass the mapper, that is nothing but dictionary. So wherever I have one, I would like to make this as 100. Okay, wherever I have 4, like whichever row name is there, right? Only those things you can change. I want to make it as, let's say, B. Okay, so is it doing that? Yes. So I see whenever I get row name as 1, it is going to replace 1 as 100. And whenever I have row name 4, it is going to replace as B. So it is up to you how you are going to use it. Similarly, in the same function, I can give columns also. Columns equal to, so again, I will pass a dictionary. So I'm just mapping, whenever I have A, I want to make this as ABC. Okay. Whenever I have D, I would like to make this as any name you use, DF. You see here. So my first column name is renamed as ABC and D renamed as DEF. Okay. So now another thing to about this function is, so whenever you do this functionality, right, it is going to make a copy of it and return the modified array. Okay, but what about this in case you would like to modify the original array itself? So let me do one thing. I'm going to print both df, okay, df and print and df again. Okay, so this is my original array, this is modified array, and again original array, right? But now let's say I would like to modify original array itself. So here we have something called in place true. Means internally I don't want to copy the whole data frame. I would like to modify original array itself. So by default it is false. That's why it is making copy. If you make in place true, means it will just modify the original array. Okay, but be careful while using this because you will be losing the original data. So when you are very sure you are going to do, or you are going to update the original data, then only you should make it true. Okay, so now you see here in place, what is this? Sorry, I did not comment it. Okay, so since I'm going to modify, it is going to return none and it is going to update the original array. That's why you're getting this original array and after modification ABCDF. Okay guys, so yeah, that's how you create the data frame and you update the column name and row name. Let's see the indexing and slicing. So I'm going to create the same array here. And df equal to pd dot data frame A. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so for indexing and slicing of data frame, you should know how you can access it. So by default, whenever you take data, right, even a normal human also, whenever you read the Excel, right, you will be reading all column wise data, right? So columns are nothing but your actual entity. Okay, in that entity, what kind of data you have, right? So in pandas also, in Python pandas also, whenever you read by default, right, So whatever name you are going to provide in df, let's say I'm providing a, right? So it assumes that you are trying to access column. Okay, so that's why, so each column is nothing but series of data. That's why it will be written as a series. You see here 11 9 8 5 16 and their row header name. Okay, this is one way of accessing. Another way is whenever you have name of the column, right, you can directly access using dot notation. So I'll just mention using dot notation. Okay, and this one is nothing but bracket notation. Okay, it is up to you guys. So I'll tell whenever we iterate over all the columns of the data frame, right, you may not be able to use df.a directly. Sometimes it happens, right? So that's where you have to use bracket notation. But if you just want to analyze the data of a given column, you are free to use anything. Okay, so let's see how to access multiple data. I'll use df dot, let's say I have a as well as c. Okay, so all the column names should be going inside as a list. Okay, so I want to have a and c. Okay, so what else you can do? See, by default it is accessing all the rows, right? So what if I do, let's say 0? Will it work? See here is an invalid key. So what is happening whenever you are accessing using bracket notation, you cannot pass the row header name, okay, or row header number, whatever you are using. Okay, for this particular thing you need to use lock or ilog. Okay, so loc is nothing but it is like row or index header name, sorry, row or column header name, and iloc is nothing but index based location. Okay, so let me show you how to access that. So for this df dot ilog, sorry, loc. Now whenever you are using loc, you can use a and let's say 0. What happened? Why it is not working? Okay. Oh, sorry. So first of all, whenever you use loc, right, let me just write the syntax here. So loc, then I'll just mention data frame dot loc, then bracket, and here it will come as row header name, row index name I would mention. Okay, because this is label based. Okay, and after comma you will have column header name. This is your syntax. Okay, so now let's follow the syntax. So first will come 0. So 0 is my row header and a is your column. Okay, so you got 1. That is, so from first column I want first row, or from first row I want column a only. Okay, so that's how you access. Now let's say I want multiple columns in a different order. So I want column a and d, but only 0th row. Okay, so it is going to return a and d 0th row. Similarly, you can have, let's say this is also fine, because now this is nothing but your row label, correct? And as I mentioned in the series, sorry, in the row, since 0 index and all those things are maintained as a internal label, right? So 0 column, those kind of things you can use. Okay, now let's say I want only 0, then third and fifth, then fourth row, or maybe 0, fourth row, or in any order, right? So what happened? Do we have, oh, 5 is not there, right? Yeah. So 0th row, 4th row, and 3rd row, but I want from column A and D. Okay, so this is another way to access. Now, can we access a column? Yes. Okay, because everything is in series, so you can just mention A till all the columns. Okay, so that's how you use LOC. But remember, guys, LOC, as I mentioned, it is location label based, right? So you need to use exact label. If you don't have label, then it is going through an error. Okay. So what if user doesn't, let's say you have data where your row and column headers are so big name, right? So this doesn't make any sense to use label based, because user will be tired to write all the names for the row as well as column. Okay. So to rescue that operation, you have something called iloc, that is index based location. Okay, so where is my df? Let's do that. Df dot iloc. Now here I'll be forced to use only index, not the label. Okay, so let's say I want 0th row and 0th column. Okay, that is my first value, that is 11. So what if you use, will it work? No, because we are forcing user to use index, not the label. That's why you see a location based indexing can only have integer slice. A start point is included and end point is excluded, because it is going to be index based. Okay, so let's talk about this. I want 2 to, let's say 5. Will it work? Yes. So 2 to 5 is nothing but your 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 is excluded. So CDE. That's why you got CDE. And from which row? That is 0th row. That is 9, 17, and 17. Okay. Similarly, whole data frame, if you would like to reverse, you can use column -1, the way we did in the list. This is also fine. Okay, can we do transform? Let me see if we have. Yes, you can do that. So row will be converted to column and column will be converted to row. I'll just mention, sorry, not transform, transpose. Okay. So slicing I already showed. You can use direct way, the way you did. What else you can do? You have this, then what else? Slicing using label also you can do. Okay, but you need to use LOC. In case you're using ILOC, then I can use, let's say, 1 to 5 every second one I want. Every second row I want 1 to 5. Okay, and here I want 0 to, let's say, 4 every second row, every third row. See what will happen. Okay, so you can do some maths here why it is happening, but this you guys already know, like in list we have already seen, right? Every second row from 1 to 5, and every third row from starting till fourth column. Okay, that's how you do that. Okay guys, I think this is good enough for today, because we have lot of functionality in pandas. So it is also going to be divided into 4 or 5 parts. Okay, so don't worry, I'm going to cover each and every pieces of pandas, and I'll make sure that you are perfect in pandas data handling. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see a couple of data frame visualization options, which by default comes with pandas library. Okay, then a couple of other functionality. Yeah, and we'll see how to read the external data, whichever is there in the like .text file or .html, or reading data from HTML web page and extracting the table. Okay, that also we'll see. This is very interesting. So those who are going to take the real-time data from the web page, right, that will be helpful when you understand this particular part, and how to export in a different file. Okay guys, so that's all for today. I hope you liked it, and please subscribe my channel if you have not done. And those who are not able to understand any of the part, then, or whichever part you are not understanding, please leave the comment in the comment box or put your query in the Telegram channel. Okay guys, that's all from my side. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.